Okay, we are live for day 2 of the Peace Summit with Meditation Magazine, Kevin Ellerton, and Nini Lee. Nee is one of... Hi, Nee. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Nee is one of the teachers from our meditation teacher training at Meditation University. And actually, I first met Nee before we were doing Meditation University. I think we were already collaborating on Meditation Magazine. She was featured in one of our issues of Meditation Magazine, and she's been an amazing person to work with. And I'm glad to have you here today. Thank you for being here as a co-host for this day of the Peace Summit.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So I want to just make sure that people are able to see us. So I'm going to just post a question in the comments, like please comment here if you can see us and hear us. Just making sure that we are indeed live and that the streams are working. I see there's a couple of little eyeballs in the top left. I'm hoping that means that there are people that can see us. Yes. Hi, Lori. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Okay, so I'm assuming that we are indeed live. So I want to just tell people a little bit about what is happening today at the Peace Summit. And we are going to be having 3 live sessions like in a row. And we're starting with Kashmir. So if you are aware that there is a region in between India and Pakistan called Kashmir, and that there's conflict there, that is, you're pretty much caught up on what most people in the Western world know about Kashmir. Unfortunately, there's not that much that reaches us in terms of news here in the United States and Canada. Like, what do you hear about Kashmir? Do you hear anything about Kashmir from in where you are in Barcelona and when you live in Australia?
No,
Yeah.
never heard anything about Kashmir.
Yeah, so there's been a conflict there for many years. It actually started back in 1947, the same year as the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. The British Empire had pulled out of both places at the same time. This is all research that I've done independently. I never heard any of this through the media or anything. They pulled out of both places at the same time and left like tribal and ethnic groups sort of in a like hanging in this crazy position where they were like right next to each other, and they both believed that certain land was theirs, and they that's caused a lot of problems in both places. So we are going to be talking with a Hindu and a Muslim from that are at least so the Muslim peace activist Javed Beigh is there in Kashmir, and our Hindu participant is also someone who is a peace lover, an activist, and trying to help bring peace, and she is in northern India, not in Kashmir proper, and they'll be talking about what can be hopefully what can be done to try to bring peace and reconciliation in the area. After that, we're going to be having a conversation between Nee and Sarah Ezrin. So Nee is an expert in harmonious relationships, and I can say from experience, I visited her and her partner's home in Barcelona, and they have a very, very strong vibe of peace and harmony. And for like I was struck by it, and I'm excited to hear her thoughts on how to cultivate that in relationships. And Sarah Ezrin, who is going to be also part of that conversation, has written The Yoga of Parenting, and she is a parenting, like a peaceful parenting expert. So she's going to be talking about how we can be more peaceful with our kids and our family members and cultivate peace at home. And then our last live conversation for today is going to be with Combatants for Peace. And that is a group of former combatants in Israel and Palestine, and an Israeli and a Palestinian combatants that have become peace activists. And they're going to be talking together about how we can get toward peace using nonviolent means. Lastly, we're going to end with meditations from 3 amazing meditation teachers, Tara Culbertson, Brett Cotter, and Kimberly Snyder. And those 3 meditations are going to be very powerful and help us to find our way into our hearts, to release emotional baggage and trauma and things like that. And then I believe Nee is going to lead us in a final closing meditation at around 4 p.m. Eastern time. So that's our lineup for today, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. I think Javed Beigh is going to join us in about 5 minutes. And Nee, do you have any opening thoughts to get us started here?
All I can say is I'm so excited for today's part of the summit because yesterday was truly incredible, and I am so excited to see what unfolds today.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, yesterday was pretty epic. Just for anybody who missed it, you can watch the replays on YouTube or Facebook on our channels. And it's I'll actually, if you're watching it now, you already know what our channel is. You can find the replays on the same channel. We had Guru Dev Sri Sri Ravi Shankar talking about peace and nonviolence, and Satish Kumar talking about the same things. We had the Parents Circle, which is Palestinian and Israeli mothers, parents who have lost children in the war, and talking about reconciliation. We had Nonviolent Peace Force in Sudan, talking about the situation in Sudan and how we can use nonviolence to resolve conflicts and to help to keep people safe. And we had some really amazing speakers, and Chandra Lacombe with his beautiful music, which got us started. So I definitely recommend watching the replays. And for now, do you want to join me in a brief meditation? Javed should be here in a few minutes, and I think it's nice to just get started with some peace, And I'll guide us a little bit, but meditation is within us. It's not something that I'm telling you or giving you. It's already there inside of you. There's already peace here inside of you, just in your heart, in your mind, in your body. In this Peace Summit today, where there will be many words, but now let's take a moment to be free of words and just enjoy the silence. When we use words, we stir up the mind a little bit. When we hear words, we think thoughts. There will be much thinking today. Let's take this moment to enjoy the resting of the mind in the silence between the words. Sometimes in the silence, the mind wanders back into thoughts. There will be much time for thoughts today. When you notice that the mind has wandered into thoughts, Just smile. Notice the silence, the breath flowing in and out of the body, the feelings of the body. The stillness of being here. When the mind gets stirred up, it can stop us from thinking and acting and behaving in a peaceful way. We can get overly logical and agitated and get caught up in beliefs, ideas, and thoughts of what we need to do. But when we exist in the silence, in the stillness, we are peace. We embody peace. In stillness, there is peace. In silence, there is peace. And let us set an intention to remain in the stillness and the silence, even as we continue and go forward in our conversations today. That we endeavor to hear the silence between the words, and that even as the mind is spinning, the consciousness is still. That the thoughts and the ideas and emotions can swirl within the still, silent, vast space of consciousness. Whenever you feel ready, you can allow your eyelids to drift gently open. And remaining here in the stillness, we can be here together. Thank you. Thank you for joining me in this meditation. And I want to bring the Kashmir conversation into our sphere of consciousness in a moment. But I want to make sure that our participants have both been able to log in correctly. I see Javed is trying to join, but maybe he is having some difficulties. Srishti, do you want to hang on? I'm going to. Srishti is here in the waiting room. Srishti, can you maybe call Javed and ask him if he's having trouble? I can't. Okay, I'm gonna. Sorry, we couldn't hear you. So, can you call Javed and ask him if he's having trouble?
Hello, hello everyone.
Hi.
So I cannot call Javed. I do not have his number. I have his email address.
It's on
It seems.
WhatsApp. Okay, it's you're connected on WhatsApp in the WhatsApp chat.
Just give me a second.
Okay. Oh, there he is. Hang on. Hey, Javed.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, am I late?
Just for about a few minutes, but it's fine.
Oh, I'm
We're
so
here together.
sorry.
We know it's okay. We're here together now. We just did a nice little meditation for a couple of moments about sitting
Oh,
in stillness, just
oh, great,
being,
great.
yeah, being in peace and stillness and the silence and the stillness. And that's how we want to approach this conversation as much as possible in peace and stillness um, and camaraderie if we can as much as possible, because I think
Yes,
all of us here are interested in peace. We want peace. We want
yes,
to live in a peaceful world. We want to see a peaceful India, a peaceful Kashmir, a peaceful
yes,
Pakistan, a peaceful
yes.
Earth. So welcome, Javed,
Thank you
and
so much, Kevin.
thank you. Javed is a peace activist in Kashmir. Srishti is a nonviolence and Gandhian believer. She loves nonviolence and Gandhi, and she lives in India. She is also working and hoping for peace in the region. And we are going to have a conversation. Javed is also a Muslim, and Srishti is Hindu. So that a lot of the tensions have been between those groups. And I know Srishti just dropped off for a second, but I'm sure she'll be back in a moment. Uh, there she is. She had maybe a connectivity issue. There she is. So since a lot of the tensions have been between the Hindu and Muslim groups, it's good to have people on both sides who want peace talking about what is happening and what can be done. So just to start out the conversation here, I want to put this question to first to Javed, and then Srishti can kind of talk about what she hears about the situation, because Javed, you're there in Kashmir, and Srishti is in northern India, which is not inside of Kashmir proper, but she has experiences from her family and people like that she hears things that are going on, and she doesn't maybe have the firsthand experience. So it's good for us to have this conversation to understand what exactly is happening in Kashmir. What is the conflict about? What's been going on? And can Javed, let's keep it like very high level, like big picture, because just so you know, people in the United States, people in around the world. I was just talking to Nia about this. She is lives in Barcelona, and she lives in Australia, and she doesn't hear almost anything about Kashmir. We don't hear almost anything about Kashmir in the United States. Even when there was like much more violence going on, even when there was big problems, we barely heard anything about it. So can you give our global audience a big picture understanding of what's been going on?
Uh, Thank you so much, Kevin, for inviting me to your show. And the name itself is so touching. This meditation, and that's why I'm sitting right now at my home. I'm not sitting on a chair because you know, I also got very positive vibes when you invited me, and it's really a good feeling. And Thank you. Salam alaikum and namaste. With such intellectuals, it's again a privilege and a blessing to share stage with. Uh, well, Kashmir has a unique history. You know, the actual boundary of Kashmir is from Lakhanpur to Wakhan. Wakhan is touching Central Asian countries, somewhere at the border of Afghanistan. And on the other side, it is Lakhanpur, it is Punjab. border. So in 1947, when India got freedom from British, and unfortunately, India was divided into two ideas. One was idea of India, a secular, inclusive idea. Another was an idea based on a particular religion, that is idea of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Unfortunately, this area, it got divided. Uh, but before that division, let me take you to a historical background. Historical background. The then Maharaja of independent Kashmir, he signed an instrument which is called as instrument of accession with the idea of India, with the Union of India, and he wanted to join India. But before he could actually join India, the newly created Pakistan, they actually took away one part of it, which is we believe and call it POJK and POGB. That is Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, Pakistan occupied Gilgit and Baltistan. But we, our ancestors, they have signed the document of accession with the Union of India, which I believe was a good decision, because after 75 years, that idea of India has become a reality, and this huge country is being seen by the world. Whole world is looking up to that idea now. India is indeed on a path to become Vishwaguru, if not militarily, if not in technology, but yes, in many other very important uh, fields or spheres of life. That idea has achieved a lot. World cannot ignore India, and world is not ignoring India. On the other side, uh, that idea, which was created on the basis of religion, the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, was divided into two, sub ideas. Within that religious idea, two more ideas were created. One, Bangladesh, and another is a Punjabi Muslim dominant Pakistan. The accession with the Union of India, or with that greater idea, is just, logical, authentic, legal, and has that moral values. But the part taken by Pakistan is illegal and unauthorized. You in your question, Kevin, you said conflict in Kashmir. There is no conflict in Kashmir. There is no unrest in Kashmir. The reality is, the neighboring country, they created a situation where people of Kashmir were pushed to wall during 90s. Let me be very clear, specific, and honest. In 90s, they lured Kashmiri youth, gave them training and arms, sent them back, and created unrest, created chaos, and very unfortunate, a part of our society was rendered homeless. The Kashmiri Hindus, Kashmiri Pandits, they were killed by militants. Their properties were damaged, including their religious places, and they were sent into a forced exodus, and still they have not returned to home. Some of them have started returning in last 3 4 years, and still, uh, you know, majority of Kashmiri Pandits, Kashmiri Hindus, have not returned yet due to that uh, fear psychosis. Hundreds of Kashmiri Hindus were killed. Kashmiri Muslims were also killed by those militants, no doubt. And there was a situation when law and order was not good. Yes, when a lot of violence was created, a lot of terror incidents happened all across Jammu and Kashmir. But now situation has come under control. Peace has returned. Jammu and Kashmir, particularly Valley of Kashmir, is on the path of peace, prosperity, reconciliation, and development. We hosted a mega event of G20 last year. Uh, we hosted more than 20 million tourists in last 2 years. We, hosted more than a million uh, pilgrims every year, and this year we are expecting more than 3 million pilgrims. So there is no conflict. Jammu and Kashmir is on the path of uh, becoming that world tourist destination. On the other side, people of Jammu and Kashmir uh, who live in Gilgit and Baltistan, we call it POGB, they have been protesting even for the basic amenities there. I want to raise this uh, very human issue here on this platform. So nobody has been, ever speaking about the people of POGB, and I want to make it uh, very clear here. The people in POGB belong to Shia sect of Islam. Most of them, let's say more than 90%, and a good percentage of them, they belong to Ismaili Shias. Rest 10% or maybe less than 10% belong to uh, other sect of Islam. So they have been protesting for their basic rights, and many prominent activists there, prominent leaders, renowned academicians, scholars, intellectuals, been killed there. Or most of them are being arbitrarily arrested or sent into enforced disappearance. So nobody has ever spoken about them. This is a human issue. It's human rights violation, and people in POJK, they are also fighting for their basic rights. We are witnessing Lok Sabha elections all across India and similarly in Jammu and Kashmir. The enthusiasm of people, especially youth, is something to be watched out. Uh, on the other side, in POGB, people cannot vote in that federal structure of Pakistan. They cannot go to parliament. We have 6 people representing Jammu and Kashmir in Indian parliament. We will again be sending 6 people in world's one of the largest parliaments, that is New Delhi parliament. So I don't see any kind of conflict or unrest in Jammu and Kashmir. Yeah, there are minor political issues within the states. Yeah, that's everywhere in the world. But the basic rights in Jammu and Kashmir, we have equal rights as somebody in New Delhi, somebody in bigger states like Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Maharashtra. Yes, every Kashmiri. In fact, one of our Kashmir's leader became a home minister in Indian Union. Not a single Kashmiri living in POJK or POGB can ever go to parliament in Pakistan. So this is the difference. We, may agree or disagree, but this is the reality. People of Jammu and Kashmir are actually uh, deciding what Jammu and Kashmir has to be. No one else can decide for us. We are deciding. And I want to take an example of a youth who in fact has become poster boy in India. His name is Shah Faisal. He topped India's most prestigious exam, Indian Administrative Services, and is now serving uh, at the Union Ministry. So there is no conflict. Yes, we may have differences within this greater idea, but they are minor differences. Every government has differences with uh, the parties who are not ruling the state. But yes, I personally feel the decision taken by my ancestors, the elderly people in 1947, while joining the bigger idea, which is idea of India, I feel proud of them. They took a very good decision. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Javed, for giving us this big picture overview of what's going on in Kashmir. It's really great to hear that. I know that, you say there's no conflict. There had been more conflict in the 1990s, as you mentioned. And I heard that in 1990, like you were saying, there was an exodus. There was terrorism and forced a lot of Hindus to leave their homes. Um, I wanted to ask Sristi, do you when you hear Javed talking about this history, does it sound similar to the history that you hear from where you are in India? And if not, are there differences in what you're hearing? And what do you think about the history of that area and things like that?
Actually, Kevin, Javed was even more honest than I had expected him to be. He mentioned everything which has happened in Kashmir. He didn't go into the gory details actually, which happened. I guess Javed can throw some more light about it. And what he told us about all the Kashmiri. In all the issues that happened in Kashmir in the year 1990 regarding the forced exodus of the Kashmiri Pandits. That's the reality. I mean, that was a very dark period. Even I was not born at the time, and I heard stories. Like I would say it's stories, but then when you get to know that something so horrible and terrifying was happening to real people, done by another set of people, like all are humans, and it was happening. It was being done from one human to another, and it's truly heartbreaking. And it's beautiful that India as a country and Kashmir as a place is growing out of it. But then we cannot deny the fact that there was this situation which happened, right? There was this violence which happened. We may not have been able to uh, curb that violence, answer that violence with peace at the time when it was most required. So Javed was very honest about it. He actually told what happened to Kashmiri Pandits. They were forced out of Kashmiri Pandits. Also belonged to Kashmir as much as other communities did. So they were forced to move out from Kashmir, and that was a very violent way of doing it. And it's very rare to hear people accept it. Like it's very rare to hear people accepting it that something of this sort happened. Even I would say that I've heard stories about it from my grandfather or my parents or anyone, and I've heard my friends talking about it. I've seen some people. I've seen news about it. Maybe movies about it. There was one movie about it, and we still have some. We have doubts that is it true, is it real, is it happening for real. And whatever I've heard, Javed summed it up perfectly. That happened. We could not handle it with peace at the time, but now the situation is getting better there.
Okay, so thank you for that. And so how did the Hindu population handle it at the time in the 1990s? What did they do? Did they try to fight back? Was there nonviolent resistance? Did they just flee? Like what was the situation at that time?
If Javed was present at the time, we have heard about it is Kashmiri Pandits had to flee at the time, and there was a lot of violence and killing, and they had to flee Kashmir, leaving their homes behind. And there are a lot of, I mean, you can find real people whose homes are just there in Kashmir, and they were thrown out of their homes. So they ultimately had to flee. If I was to sum it up in few words, I would say that they had to flee. They had no option, because if you'd say that there was to fight violence with peace, they were ready to fight violence with peace, but the solution was not very favorable in the direction for Kashmiri Pandits. Am I correct, Javed?
Sorry, your mute mic is mic is muted.
Yeah, Srishti is absolutely correct. The community of Kashmiri Pandits, they're very much Kashmiris as much I am, and we belong to the same uh, ethnicity. We speak same language. The only difference, which is main-made difference, is the belief system. And for me, my civilizational value system, my culture, my tradition is more important than anything to me, than anything. So I am also, born in that time, very unfortunate time. I don't know what exactly happened, but during my childhood, I have seen some part of it. I can actually recall some part of it. I have seen those beautiful houses being destroyed by uh, the people who believed in violence. They couldn't achieve nothing out of it, but yes, they were able to push that ideology into our society and divided our society. That ideology of hatred, that ideology of you know uh, enforcing something upon somebody. Ultimately, that ideology failed because we are again together. Kashmiri Muslims and Kashmiri Hindus are again together. Are that reconciliation has taken its firm roots, and this society is again re-emerging from that dark era. Kashmiri Hindus and Kashmiri Muslims have again started living together, uh, and you know have again bringing back that old Kashmiriyat. Kashmiriyat, is something like uh, Ganga Jamni Tehzeeb of northern part of India, where every body was living in peace, harmony, and brotherhood. Uh, when you read about Kashmir, you always feel you know proud of being a Kashmiri, wherein people of every faith have lived together in peace and in that sense of communal harmony and brotherhood. But yes, very unfortunate, our neighboring country tried everything to destroy that basic fiber of Kashmiriyat. And now I believe in karma. Now same things are happening in our neighboring country, which we as Indians are very worried about. I sincerely pray that peace should return to our neighboring country also. They should also live in peace, prosperity, uh, because this is again in our social value system. We always wish good for our neighbors. I was taught like this. So we will never wish an unstable neighboring country. We will always try and wish and pray that our neighboring country should also be stable. But yes, they should own that uh, whatever they did during 90s. Hundreds of Kashmiri youth, Kashmiri Muslim youth, were killed. Some of them took to a negative path, were ultimately killed. But hundreds and thousands of Kashmiri innocents were killed by militants. And still, our neighboring country has not taken that responsibility. Before moving ahead, and the first step for reconciliation is accepting and acknowledging your mistakes, blunders, or sins. So they have not yet taken responsibility of what they did in Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades. They should take responsibility. Hundreds and thousands of Kashmiri Muslims, Kashmiri Hindus, Kashmiri Sikhs, were killed. Many people, uh, they left their houses. Even in Kashmiri Muslim community, hundreds and thousands of people were uh, left homeless. Kashmiri Hindus, whole community were forced out of Jammu and Kashmir and are still living a very difficult life in different states in our country or elsewhere in the world. And we, India has a great and glorious history of uh, giving shelter to anybody who is oppressed anywhere in the world. We have this great legacy, which again I feel proud of. People who were oppressed in uh, Zoroastrians, they also came to India. The people who were oppressed in West Pakistan, they came to India. Very recently, people who were oppressed in Myanmar, Rohingyas, they came to India, and most of them are living in Jammu and Kashmir. So this is the India I believe in. I will be last person in this world who will support violence or that communalism. Never. I, as a Kashmiri, as an Indian, as an advocate of idea of India, idea of Kashmiriyat, will always support an inclusive society. And that's why I have been raising these very basic questions at every platform I get. The question of Kashmiri Pandits, because they are still homeless. You know, when last single Kashmiri Pandit is not returned with honor and dignity to his home, I will keep raising this. I will keep raising this, and that's when I will feel peace has returned to Jammu and Kashmir.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you, Javed. I want to ask you. You've mentioned that Pakistan was the cause of the unrest, that they trained militants and had them create violence in Kashmir, and that they were so motivated to do this. But I think for most of us around the world, we kind of wonder, like, why were they motivated to do that? Why did they do that? What was the reason? And I've heard some people, say that it's because of like a jihadist fundamental, or like an idea that they should conquer the land for Islam. But then I think that there's others that consider it to be more of like a political thing, where the rulers of Pakistan just wanted to have more land. Like, what do you think was motivating Pakistan to create this conflict?
Kevin, there are many reasons. Some primary reasons are like the humiliating defeat Pakistan uh, was going through in 1971. When Bangladesh got freedom and Bangladesh was created, uh, Pakistan wanted to take revenge. Second, an ideology, that ideology was pushed uh, into Pakistan. Uh, Pakistan was going through that phase of Islamization, and different interpretations of jihad through those ideologies, uh, and that was institutionalized through madrasas, seminaries, and even public schools. Very unfortunate. When young minds are hypnotized with hatred towards others, towards the people of other caste, creed, sex, ethnicity, people who speak a different language, people who eat different food, people who wear different dresses. uh, a time comes when you have uh, people who don't believe in human values, because I have seen it in Kashmir too. uh, very young, charming boys uh, who were indoctrinated, radicalized through different institutions, and they getting into a very wrong and negative path, taking to a senseless uh, life, and ultimately bringing death, destruction to their families, to themselves, to our society. Uh, Ultimately, a time comes when even they realize that they are on a very wrong path. But I don't see that thing happening in Pakistani civil society. I wish Pakistani civil society understand this. I can understand uh, the kind of regime there, and the way that country is going is not a threat to us, but is a threat to the entire region. Because when institutions, I believe a state, a country, a nation is a group of institutions. When every institution is robust, is you know is actually doing what they are supposed to do, then there has to be a fair system. There has to be a free and fair system. But we don't see that free and fair system in Pakistan. People in Pakistan with whom I interact, very intelligent, intellectual people, they want peace, they want reconciliation with every neighboring country, including India. They say that this whole system is being run by uh, Punjabi Muslims, and their mindset is very difficult. That mindset was the reason of Bengali people getting separated from that idea of Islamic Republic of Pakistan in 71. When people in Bangladesh, they voted for a guy. They wanted to be ruling the state, but Punjabi Muslims of Pakistan, they did not accept them. They say we are superior than you because our skin is fairer than you. The skin of people in Bangladesh is darker than the people in Punjab. Not only in Pakistani Punjab, but in our uh, uh, Indian Punjab also. The skin is fairer than the Bangladeshi people. Yeah, this is on record. I have read this in many books. This was one of the reasons, one of the many reasons. So that mindset has not changed yet. And very recently, we saw a very dramatic election being held in Pakistan, wherein ex prime minister is in jail. His party, broken into pieces, and then a very strange kind of guy elected. So you know, you cannot run a huge country like this. You cannot run. Their economy is very weak. Their population is fighting for very basic things. On the other side, a country as huge as India, 1.4 billion people, different regions have different ethnicities, different language, different way of life, different religions. And again, I'm so proud of this beautiful land. We gave four beautiful religions to the world. A very ancient religion, which is Sanatani Dharma, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Jainism, and India hosts second largest Muslim population in the world. See how beautiful this idea is. My friends can have uh, different difference of opinion with me. We can have different ideologies, but look at the very basic things of our society, Indian society. Kevin, I wish you, me, Srishti, and another friend, we travel together to this beautiful country. After every 50 kilometers, you find a different world. People with a different language, people wearing a different dress, people following a different religion even. This is so beautiful. I have gone to almost every city in my country. I wish I get a chance to travel to the neighboring countries too. But honestly speaking, this is a different world. I have traveled a lot of countries, but India is a different world. As I rightly mentioned, anybody oppressed anywhere in the world, belonging to any religion, he finds the last a place to live in this world is India for them. Yes.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying all that, Javed. And one of the things that you had mentioned kind of piqued my interest because well, a lot of the things that you did, but one of the things that we've been talking about in some of the other conversations, we've had a conversation with Israeli and Palestinian parents who have lost children in the war, as an example. And after this, in a couple of hours, we have a conversation with former combatants in Israel and Palestine that have turned to nonviolence toward each other. And in that conflict, and personally, I have family in Israel, and I know that there is a belief among some of my family members there that it is that there is a very strong religious motivation for the violence more than political, and that it's very hard to talk to people who are believe that they need to kill um, infidels or to take land for Islam. And I know that I've talked to many people in India who have the same, like Hindus in India that have the same idea. And I think that also in here in the United States, there's this the conservative Christians, the like in the southern parts of the United States have the same kind of thought process. And there's this idea that I think maybe you could call it Islamophobia, that people are afraid that Muslim people are wanting to conquer land and are willing to kill people for this idea of jihad. And you had mentioned that jihad is misinterpreted often, in that way. So do you feel that the idea of jihad is not about that, it's misinterpreted, or do you think that that is a good like a correct interpretation of jihad? Like what would you say to the people that believe that jihad is the idea of jihad and jihadism is the cause of a lot of that violence?
Kevin, the Israel Palestine word, I think this word I have heard more than any word so far in my life. I have read this word Israel, Palestine. In fact, I was taught about this in my school as well as madrasa, the religious school we go in childhood. Uh, to be very honest, I've been praying for people of Israel and Palestine. I've been praying. I always pray that peace should return to that beautiful land and people should start living together. Kevin, when you travel to a different place, you live at a hotel or anywhere, do you ask them who else are living in this hotel? Do we ask them who is cooking this food? Do we check this whether this food is cooked by a Muslim, a Jew, a Hindu, uh, a communist, an atheist, a Sikh, Jain? No. Do we ask the manager of the hotel who else is living in this apartment? Who is my next door a neighbor, or who is there a Muslim living? Is there a Jew living? A Hindu living? No, we don't ask. All we are concerned about is the hygiene of that place. This human mindset is the problem. The problem in Palestine and Israel is the mindset of a very small portion of the society. I won't demonize politicians or the beautiful institution of politics, but yes, the way we have created this politics, and the way our mindset has accepted the institution of politics is a problem. more than politicians and politics or the administration of both sides, it is the civil society who can actually do wonders. When a single person like Javed Beigh, uh, in a place like Kashmir, can work for last 15 years to de-radicalize young boys, to actually fight that ideology of hatred, ideology of division, ideology of that politics which is based on dividing society and ruling. I've been fighting against them also through my articles, through conclaves, webinars, through different platforms. And I can say I'm very successful because Kevin, two people were very difficult to, it was very difficult for me to convince two people in my life. One, a victim whose family members were killed, another who was out there to kill people, who was highly radicalized. It was very difficult to convince these two people because somebody who has lost his loved one, a young man who has lost his uh, father, mother, siblings, spouse, it was very difficult to convince them to come to, uh, you know, that ideology of peace. Bring back that peaceful mindset. It was very difficult for me. I have faced abuses at times, and on another side, a very young mind, a young boy who was highly radicalized, through indoctrination, and that misinterpretation of jihad religion was fed into his mind. It was very difficult for me, but I never lost hope. I made it a point to work upon these two people in the society, and trust me, the best and great emissaries of peace are actually in those two people. Trust me. you know I have in my extended group, I have both people now, a victim and somebody who was out there who was holding a gun to kill people. Both of them have come back to normal life. Both of them are living together, working together for our society now. Both of them have started taking ownership, calling Kashmir as their mother. We call it Moj Kashmir, the way we call Mother India. India is our mother. Every Indian say this. Similarly, Israel and Palestine, they are ethnically same people, right? And until and unless civil society, is not bringing, is not coming together, is not coming closer, politicians anywhere in this world, uh, they have a confined agenda of fighting an election, winning an election, then running the administration. Even you and me can do the same. If we are into politics, we are fighting an election, we might have that different level of mindset, ideology, but we will also try to win an election, what may come, and run the affairs of that state or country. It is the members of civil society who are more responsible. It is the members of civil society who will actually bring the peace. And in civil society, intellectuals and youth, they have more responsibility. This is what I feel because I have seen in Kashmir. I'm somebody who has done his schooling in Kashmir, my college in Kashmir, and I'm living in Kashmir. I there are a lot of activists, they are my friends, but they have not lived in Kashmir. They haven't seen what exactly happened in Kashmir. I you'll be very surprised. I didn't read English till my 10th class. I didn't read English. English was not even in my curriculum. Hindi was banned in my school. You know, I couldn't even speak English. I started learning English in my college. I started learning Hindi in my university. Can you believe? This is the society I have come from. I couldn't go to cinema in my childhood, not even my even during my teens. The first time I have gone to cinema in Kashmir was in 2023. Can you believe? I have missed on many things. I am also a victim, but I have never played this victim card. Many of my family members were also killed. My relatives were also killed. In front of me, if I recall, more than 100 people were killed in front of me. Yes, I have lost one of my childhood friend to that nonsensical violence, senseless violence. I have seen many people getting killed in front of me in bomb blasts, in instant firings, or in target killings. But I will never ever support any kind of violence. I have made it my ideology. My ideology is purely based on human value system. For me, a Muslim, a Jew, a Sikh, a Hindu, a Jain, a Buddhist, an atheist, all are equal. They are all my family members. That is it. When somebody living in a very small village in a mountainous region of Kashmir can inculcate this kind of ideology, why can't people in Israel, in Palestine? They are more intelligent than us, I believe. Yes, because of their civilizational and historical relevance. This can be achieved, and the initiatives you have taken are, I believe, need of the hour. I appreciate and I congratulate you. This is what we have to do now on a virtual platform, but let us try and do it physically. Try and do it physically. In my
Mhm.
childhood, some madrasa teacher told me it is haram to go to a temple. It is haram to go to a, a you know religious place of some other religion.
Haram forbidden, just for people who don't know
It's
what haram means.
forbidden.
Yeah.
I have made it a point in a week. I must visit a temple, a gurdwara, a church, a synagogue, a masjid, an imambada, a shrine. 7 days. This is my ideology. How did this happen to me? This is possible. Yes, in a place where young boys, they picked up guns, went on a killing spree, ultimately got killed. I could have done the same. I'm thankful to my family, to my teachers, to my friends. There are people in our civil society who don't believe in violence and will never believe in violence. But that narrative has to be strengthened. Those narratives has to be given space.
Hmm.
If you give space to the narratives based on hatred, based on divisive politics, then societies will be weakened. You cannot expect a peaceful society with a peaceful coexistence. Not possible then. So people in Israel, people in Palestine, both are suffering. Both have suffered a lot. I wish and I pray that there should be a lasting end to violence, every kind of violence on both sides. But civil society can bring people together. Nobody likes violence. Nobody likes bloodbath. You don't want to kill me. I will never even think about killing you. No, rather I want to spend more time with you. I want to spend time in your society. I want to invite you to my society. That's how uh, you know we in India we say Vasudeva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, and one future. Yes, this is ultimate goal of mankind.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Javed. And that was a beautiful way to kind of wrap up our session here. I feel I have 100 more questions, but unfortunately, we have only a minute or two, and then we have to wrap up. I wanted to just ask if Srishti or Nee had any questions that they wanted to ask. Srishti's camera seems to be having some technical issues. Srishti or Nee, did you want to ask anything before we wrap up here, or say anything? Okay.
Yes, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Javed, for sharing the history with all of us. It's just been so enlightening and honestly so heartwarming and touching at the same time, knowing, what you've been through and being able to just still have such a loving and compassionate heart and, praying for your neighbors. Thank you for being such a wonderful example for all of us.
Thank you so much, Nee. And humbly, I would love to invite uh, you, Kevin, and Srishti to my country and to Kashmir, to my home. Please uh, do come.
Thank you. I want to come over there soon. Actually, I've never been to Kashmir. Traveled through India, but never Kashmir. So, yeah, maybe soon. I'll let you know when we're coming over there, because I do plan to come there. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much,
being here.
Kevin.
And I'd like to let the viewers know we're going to start Nee and Sarah's session in about 4 minutes on the same page. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, just as soon as this stream ends, I'm going to set up the next stream, and you can just refresh the page in about 3 minutes, and you'll see us live. Okay. Thank you, Javed. All right. Have a great day. Great
Thank
evening.
you. Thank you. You all have great day. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.